You've seen the clip there. We know how important this story is. We want to get to the bottom of it. We want to get to the truth as to what really happened to this veteran. Many of you have asked us, why on earth did it take so long for us to be able to do this story, considering this incident actually happened back in March of 2016? Well, for us, we had had sources over the summer tell us about it, but it took a number of months to be able to get documents through the Freedom of Information Act. It was not an easy process, and then once we got the documents this summer, it then took into the fall for us to actually identify the victim in this case. It was very difficult for us to be able to find the victim because of privacy laws, but we were able through a couple of sources to be able to find out who it was, and we were able to not only talk to him and his family, we were also able to talk to the suspect in this case, and we were able to talk to numerous officials who were able to weigh in on their thoughts regarding the situation. So a number of you at home have had many questions coming in through social media to ask us some issues regarding this investigation. So we want to answer some of those questions. The first one came from Andrea M. on Facebook. She asked, why was she even given the forum to try to explain her side? There's footage of her doing it, exclamation point. Guess you needed something to fill the time. Well, essentially in journalism, we have to get everybody's opinion here. We have to get all sides. That's my job, is to be able to go out and to be able to get everybody involved in this and to weigh in. And I think in final evaluation tonight, when you watch this story and you hear directly from her, you're going to understand exactly what was in her mind when this happened, and we get a good sense of exactly why she did what she did, and how she feels about it in the aftermath, and whether she thinks she should actually continue as a caregiver doing the exact same thing. The second question was an interesting one as well. So let's show this video again, just in case someone would escape this heartbreaking video. Ridiculous. That came from Carol H. Well, Carol, we've got to be able to show the video so we can tell the truth. That is very important in the world of journalism, especially these days with all the fake news that's out there. We've got to be able to show you the truth. And why not show the video? I think it's important in this case because this is a criminal case, and this is the key piece of evidence in the case. We want our viewers to see this and to be able to understand the situation. Finally, we also want this to be a lesson for other nurse aides. We want nurse aides to be able to see this and to understand that this is happening at times in facilities like this, and for this to never, ever happen again. Another question was, what facility is this? They need to be interviewed as well, because they are liable as well. Absolutely sickening, Elizabeth M. Chimed in on Facebook. Well, the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency did chime in. They declined our interview request to be able to be interviewed during this process, but they did issue us a statement, and it was a rather long statement, essentially saying that they had zero tolerance for careless and deliberate actions that endanger the veterans that we are trusted to care for in our state home. So it was a thorough statement. They declined, though, to do an interview. Now, we did interview Governor Rick Snyder in this process, and we did show him this video. That will come out on Friday in our coverage. And Governor Snyder essentially reacted to the video once he saw it. He said, that's unacceptable. That was his evaluation of it. And then a statement came from the governor's office essentially saying the governor's deeply troubled by these charges. So they certainly did have to answer questions, the government did, and we wanted to make sure they were held accountable as well for their actions. The final question was from Dolores on Facebook. I don't see why that person at the desk standing there could have stepped in to handle it. Why didn't somebody help this veteran to make sure this didn't happen? This has been some heavy, heavy criticism on social media in advance of this story of some of the employees who work there. Obviously, there was quite a bit of drama in that evening in that particular ward there, and so there was some discipline of another employee for not necessarily for this particular incident, but for an incident that same night. The other workers, there was another worker there named Tiffany who really did. She tried to reach out and she tried to make sure that he didn't hit that desk. And it was, obviously, by the time, as you've seen on the video, it was very difficult for her to be able to stop it at that point. And then finally, you'll see in our newscast tonight at 11 o'clock, you'll see another caregiver who actually, you see at the end, she was sort of rubbing his stomach and rubbing his arm, trying to make him feel better. So some of the criticism perhaps is due, but some of the criticism I don't think is due, because some of those workers really either couldn't do anything about it or did try to make the situation a little bit better. So we want to make a promise to you ultimately in this story. We want to be able to find the truth, and that's what we've done in this investigation. We can tell you we're never finished in fully trying to make sure that we know exactly what happened here, and we will continue to investigate this as long as it takes. But we need your help in investigating many cases around West Michigan. We want you to email us. watchdog@wzzm13.com is our email. We look at everything. I mean, we really do look at everything, and we will tackle any investigation out there to be able to find the truth, particularly in government. That's our mission as watchdogs, and that's what we promise that we're going to do for you. So we've answered your questions. We want you to tune in tonight. We found the truth in this particular situation, and we definitely do not want this to happen again, and that's why we're spotlighting the issue. Tune in at 11 o'clock here this evening. It's only about a 5-minute story. It's not real long. Spend the 5 minutes with us and learn about this situation, and we think that things are going to be better at the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans as time moves along.